Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Stractify 500. We are continuing with our series in perspective drawing, and today I am going to cover drawing staircases. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. Today, let's see, I'm going to start with a little bit of pencil work, and then I anticipate getting into using my colored pens. So 2 shades of blue and an orange. We'll see if we'll see how that works out. Okay, so first of all, I'm working with my short ruler, my short 60-30 triangle, and then I've got my extra long ruler here. This feels a little too long. This is like way longer than 12 inches. So here's the 12-inch mark. It's 18 inches. So you'll see me jump between this and then using my big triangle here. Okay. So for right now, I'm going to set this aside until I absolutely need it, and let's get the horizon line drawn and get things going. All right, so for this one, I'm going to set the horizon line to be a little higher on the page. I'll explain why in a minute, or a few seconds rather. So there's our horizon line, HL, HL. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to do my first staircase below the horizon line. Okay, so let me go ahead and set things up. You know what, let me do this to make sure, just to make sure that my lines are perfectly parallel. I'm gonna set another parallel line down here. So a parallel line down here to help keep everything parallel and perpendicular and all that good stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come with that. I'm going to set out my first vertical line right here somewhere. Maybe somewhere more like in the middle. So right there. I'll do that lightly, kind of lightly, light enough for, dark enough for you guys to see. And then what I will do is I will start here, or let me start here. Here's good. Okay. And then along that line, I'm going to subdivide. My base will be, let's see, okay, I'm not going to do a bunch of subdivisions because I need to do this fairly quickly. So I'm going to go half, quarter of an inch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 9 and 10. Okay, so excuse any noise in the background. That's just my neighbor in the next office. The walls are kind of thin. you don't have to talk too loud before you hear a bunch of stuff. So I mean, they're kind of boisterous and happy over there. So, and he's a good guy. So it's all good. All right. So first things first. When it comes to teaching the staircase, I always like to teach. I always like to start by using the 2-point perspective model. Okay. So this will be my VP2. And this will be my VP3. This will be VP1. Sorry. Okay, so basically the way it works is that you can draw staircases in 1-point, 2-point, and 3-point perspective. But I've found through my experience teaching that I think it's better, I feel that it's better to teach starting with the 2-point perspective model, because that clarifies a lot of the concepts and a lot of the techniques. It makes it very, very clear, very distinct, very concise, and then you can go ahead and apply what I teach and what I cover in the 2-point model, and you can apply that to 1-point perspective and 2-point perspective. Okay, so the main way I like to teach staircases is by using the 2-point perspective model. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's go ahead and lay out our box. Okay, so from this bottom part to the vanishing point, strike a line, and then strike a line also to that top point right there, like so. Okay. That's a little high, and I can see that causing some problems. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to bring this lower, okay? So I'm going to bring that baseline lower. All right, sorry about that. Don't mean to create any delays, but I can anticipate a few issues, so I want to avoid those issues as much as possible. So what I'll do is I will bring it 1, 2, 3 points down, like so, and then we'll get rid of these 3 right here. We'll just sort of nix those. Okay. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That should be, yeah, that's about right. So this will be the top of our box, bottom of our box. Let's go ahead and lay that out like so. I think my neighbor heard me and sort of quieted down. So that's fine. Okay, so that's the first side of our box, and then connect. There we go. Make sure I connect properly to that to that point. And then connect properly to that vanishing point as well. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to determine the end of the box and also the width of the box. Okay, let me clean that up right there so that you can see the staircase clearly. So I think I'm going to go right about there. So that'll be the thickness of the box, and then the box will end somewhere here. Okay, so let's get that set up. I'm gonna try and do as little eyeballing as possible. I might have to do some to speed things up here and there. So that's the end of the box right there. And this is the width of the box. Went off my line. Defeating the whole purpose there. That's a little too, the width is a little too much. So nix that. I'll bring it in a little bit more. Like so. And what we'll get is, can my ruler reach? Slightly short, so let's just use this. We'll bring this over here. Complete the box, like so. And bring the top of this over to this vanishing point to complete the box. Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do and what I want you guys to do is to go ahead and lightly circle this top line. Just go ahead and do that. And I will explain why we want to do that somewhere in the middle of this whole process, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we are going to, so we have this box, we have our subdivisions here, okay? And in this particular case, with this line, well, first of all, let's go back a little bit, back to our video on 2-point perspective grids. And if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that video where I talk about the true height line. So when we did our 2-point perspective grid, we set we had a situation where we had sort of like the corner of a room, like so. We set that up, and then we set this line that was in the corner as our true height, okay? So basically, all our measurements were laid out on this line. All our subdivisions and our measurements were laid out on this line, and then as we progressed, everything that radiated from these points experienced some sort of, well, experienced perspective foreshortening. So basically, what you want to do is have that true height line and then project off of that line, but have all your measurements be taken care of on that particular line, and then let that take care of how everything else is formed as it radiates out, and foreshortening and perspective foreshortening takes place, okay? So if something is like half an inch here or an inch here, over here it's not going to be half an inch, it's going to change completely. So that's what that true height line is for. Let's remember that, okay? So as it applies here, I am excuse me, as it applies here, I'm making this front line my true height line, such that I can project back, I can project forwards, but all my measurements, my exact measurements are right on this line. Again, I measured, so with that being said, I measured this line out straight from the ruler, okay? Let's say you go ahead and you construct your box and you did not measure this, and this is at some odd length or whatever. Again, you can take this line from here to here, draw a shorter line at an angle from here to here, okay? And then subdivide it like so, making sure that these are equal, these measurements are equal. And then once you're done, again, take from the end of this line, project a line to this end point, like so. And then project from these points, but make sure every line from every point is parallel to this line, and you will get the exact measurements and subdivisions that you need. Okay, so that's a quick way to do it if you've decided not to measure right from the beginning. In my case, I've measured things right from the beginning, so so I don't have that issue or that problem. It's not much of an issue. Like, you can do either or. So whichever way you prefer to do it will work fine. So what I will do is I am going to go ahead and, well, before I do that, what I want to do is project lines from these points to the vanishing point. Before I do that, what I want to do is, for my staircase, I want to set up a landing, okay? And for me to do that, and what I mean by that is landing, like when you get to the top of the stairs where it flattens out and you have that little area where you can stand or you can stop. That's your landing, okay? And so we're going to set up our landing. I want my landing to be right here, but there's another purpose for that. We're not just putting a landing there for the sake of placing a landing there. It's to help us draw our staircase as well. So will this reach? Yes, it will. So once you've got that, just connect to the vanishing point or to the other vanishing point. So we have that space right there, okay? So now I am going to go ahead and project these lines and connect to the vanishing. Connect the vanishing point to the points on the true height line. And we are well on our way to constructing our staircase. Okay, these are the steps. These are going to be the steps of our staircase. Like so. Like so. That's a bit off. Let me fix that. Yeah. That's going to cause problems. Clean that up. So while I'm cleaning that up, let me take a look at my camera. Make sure you guys can see everything. Okay, it's looking good. Let me zoom in real quick so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, let me bring it back. All right. So with dealing with the staircase, the construction of the staircase, you really want to be as accurate as possible because you're dealing with a number of variables, a number of details in the process, and once one little thing goes off, well, let me not make it sound as crucial as that, but if something is off, it can throw a lot of other things off as well. And so you want to be as accurate as possible. I might be off somewhere, and I'll do what I can to fix it. It's not entirely unfixable, but we're still going to do our best to keep things as accurate as possible throughout the process. Okay, so the next step, now that we've got the line for our landing, basically this is where the staircase or the steps going up, this is where they stop. What you want to do is you want to connect a diagonal line from this bottom point right here to this top point. Not to this top point, this is where it ends. If you want your staircase to end here, you can give that a try and connect from here to here. But in this case, I want my staircase to stop right here, so we're going to connect to that point with a diagonal. So this is the reason for creating this landing. Okay, this is kind of like the whole purpose, to help us construct our staircase. Okay, so that's what we get right there. All right, again, remember I have this circled for a reason. We're coming to that. Okay, that's a bit off. That is a bit off. I don't like that. I need new glasses or something, man. Okay. So, I can't erase all this stuff, guys, so I'm gonna leave it in there, and I'm gonna just be conscious of the fact that I'm working with this bottom line that you see going on here. Let me look at the camera, see if you guys can even see that. Let me zoom in so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of noise in the background. All right, so you can see that sort of double line going on. So that bottom line is what I'm working with, okay? Make sure I'm close enough in so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. I didn't mention earlier, but this is going to be part 1A of the staircase because there are two methods of doing this, and so this is like the sort of like general overview type method, and then there's a slightly more specific method in part 1B that I'll go over. Okay, so we've got our diagonal in there. We've got all the lines we need to help create our staircase. So what we need to do is follow this diagonal line up, and where the line intersects with each of these radiating lines, you mark that intersection. Okay, so that intersects like right there. It's kind of hard to see. Right up there. Okay, definitely don't want to throw myself off. Make that shorter. Okay. So you just go all the way up, mark those intersections until you get to the top, like so. Okay? And so what's going to happen is now I'm going to start to connect. I'm going to start to connect everything, start to formulate our staircase. So starting from here, and then everywhere it intersects, you drop a line, drop a line, drop a line, drop a line, okay? Starting from up here. I think we might have an extra, we'll see. We'll see. You know what, I'm feeling myself wanting to just sort of eyeball it, but I want to remain consistent and accurate as well. Okay, so we've got that. We've got that in place. So let's just drop a vertical from each. Come on. All right, guys, let me make sure lined up nicely. Okay, this is where I'm gonna start using my light blue pen. Okay, why is this off? There we go. Things are slipping a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit slow on this one. Make sure I get this right. And make sure I don't rush through it so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, even though you can. I mean, this is a video on demand, so you guys can just pause or rewind or do whatever, but still. We still need to take care. Okay, so let's drop all those verticals. get our staircase. Okay, so looks like I probably needed, you know what, let me do that, because I don't like the way that looks. Let me go ahead and just add that in there, because I can. Rather be probably more, because I should. Okay, so now this is the new base of the box. Like that, I'll just leave that there. I'm not gonna erase it. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Or can I? I can, actually. I can do that. I can. So. All right, so let me just make sure all of you can see what I've done. I've gone and added an extra step. Okay, so now that all those verticals are dropped, I'm gonna just go ahead, because my line's already in, I'm just gonna go ahead and connect them, complete the steps. And that way we will just get the full face of the staircase, or one side of the staircase. Good thing to do is you just line up your whole line, and then just get that one part done. Helps to keep things consistent, helps to maintain the perspective and whatever foreshortening is taking place. Keeps that in place. Okay, so what I'll do is I will that part. Bring that down. And bring that down. Okay, so now we're going to complete the rest of the staircase, and this is where we come back here. We come back to this little feature here, this top line, and just get rid of it because we don't need it anymore. Basically what we're going to do is connect these corners, all these, this vertex, this top piece here, part of the step, and then this corner, this bottom part of the step. Each one, we're going to connect each of those to the vanishing point. And this is not needed anymore. It's not going to be part of the construction. In fact, it's going to get in the way of the construction. So I'm just going to get rid of it now. Going to go ahead and just get rid of it completely. We do not need it. Just like that, okay? Just get it out of there. Don't need it at all. And so, and what I'm going to do is just come back here and start to, this is already connected, so let me go ahead and use the blue pen to mark that line so that as we go through the process, you guys can see it clearly and it can serve as a guide, and everybody can see exactly what I'm doing. Come on, there we go. Okay, so that part, the landing, we're not going to mess with that too much anymore. So I'm gonna, okay, So there we have it. I'm going to go with my pencil. So from that corner to the vanishing point, that top piece to the vanishing point. Make sure I'm in there so you guys can see exactly what's going on. All right, so let's see where, all right, we're approaching that area where the top, where I erased the top of that line. Actually, we're actually in that area. That's why we want, because for those of you who are still wondering why do I want to get rid of that, that's why right there. That's where the top of that line was. Had it been there, there'd be a line there and it would be confusing. It would be very easy to confuse the two. Now that's not there, it's not a factor. And you don't have to worry about distinguishing, you know, this line from whatever this line was going to be. And then that way you prevent yourself from accidentally including that as part of the construction. Okay, because that can very easily happen, and when you're through, you start looking at your finished drawing and you wonder, hey, why does my staircase look a little weird or a little off? And then you realize, oh, I left that line in there and I included it. So yeah, to avoid that completely, that's why we got rid of that line. So never forget to do that. And then sometimes you just forget and you leave it in there, and even though you can differentiate it as you're going through the construction, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. It really is. Okay, so what we want to do now is so from the top, this is a crucial point right now. We're going to set up a line as a guide, as a bit of a guide. Okay, and what we're going to do is now what you can do, first thing you can do is go ahead and connect, starting from this point here, connect to your vanishing point, right? Connect to your vanishing point. As you connect, you hit that intersection, and then you come with your, where it intersects right there, you draw your vertical up, and then where that intersects, connect to your vanishing point. And so on and so, and on and on and on until you finish. Okay? So that's perfectly legitimate. Okay? That works very well. What I want you to do is, from the top here, because this corresponds with this top part here, and this corresponds with the top of the landing, connect this top part to the top of the landing and draw a light line, and already you can see what's beginning to happen. Let me connect it and let you just look at it, and you can see what's already beginning to happen. Got the top here, the top here, the top here. They all intersect with each other. Okay? So keep that as a check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to continue to project. I'll do it the normal way. For like, let's do it the normal way for about 3 of them. And what this diagonal line does is that it really does a good job of actually helping to check and confirm the accuracy of your construction. Okay? So that's the first one. Let's stick to my plan here. First one. The second one. Oops. Here's the second one, and it is connecting. It might be a little off. It's connecting. It's the second one. And then I'm just going to do this third one, like so. Because I'm just trying to be thorough with you guys here, right? But I want you to see how all these components work. All these little, bring that in there. There you go. It's slightly off because here we go. I'm supposed to be here. There we go. And okay, that's accurate. Okay, so basically all I have to do, so what am I trying to say? So I've done the first 3 the normal way. Let me pick a better word. I've done the first 3 the typical way, the way you're supposed to do it. But since we're seeing that my construction is pretty accurate, you can actually go ahead and rely on this line. And so when you connect here, you make that connection, you can just connect directly to that spot, and it should be nice and vertical, nice and accurate. And where you have that point there, just connect it to the vanishing point, get to that intersection, and as you can see, this is parallel with that slightly. Well, not slightly, it is. Okay, and then just continue all the way to the top. What I'm going to do right now is put that in there and just zoom in so that you guys can see what's going on. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish it, complete it. So we're right there. And some of you are going to be thinking, well, why don't you just go ahead and just drop all the verticals and then put in all the horizontals in a bid to be more efficient. I will say for those of you who are beginners, just do it step by step the way I'm showing you. And after you've done it a few times, because what could happen is that you could look at how many lines are here. You can actually get things confused, and you can mix things up a little bit and ruin your construction as a result of it, and then have to erase and then go back and redraw stuff, and it's more of a hassle than it's worth. So don't be in such a rush to just to get it complete. Focus on getting it right and doing what it takes to get it right. Then, as you get used to it, as you do this over and over again, and you get better at distinguishing your multiple lines from each other, then you can do stuff like that where you're trying to be efficient and you just want to lay out your verticals and then your horizontals and have everything come together. Okay, so we're almost done. Because if you rush through it, it's going to take you longer. Okay, this looks like it's, hold on, oh, what did I do? You rush through it, it's going to take longer to fix. I think we have a problem here, slight problem. Yeah, that's not. So something went wrong here. So this is a little off. This right here is a little off, guys. I'm going to circle it. It's a little off for some reason. I did something wrong. It's not connecting the way it should. Let's try that again. Okay, that's better. And there we are. Okay. So I'm gonna leave the, no, let me go ahead and ink everything in. I'm going to do that real quick. Yeah, a lot of noise. Sorry about the noise, guys. Someone's doing some landscaping work in the complex somewhere. All right, well, we're almost there, so you will not have to listen to that any longer. One of you geniuses out there can probably make a fortune inventing motors that are landscaping lawnmower motors that are silent. Maybe put some sort of big muffler on them or something, I don't know. Seriously though, the person that invents that will probably make a killing. Just a thought. Just a thought. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Put in those verticals. Yeah, so there are a lot of steps to this. Can get kind of tedious sometimes. Like imagine having to draw like a bunch of connected staircases, like a full staircase that, you know, goes in different directions. Did I not get that? And you have to draw several levels of them, several levels of staircases and whatnot. Yeah, you can. That is not something that sounds like fun. All right, so there is our first staircase. That's how this works. So basically, this is what the staircase looks like under the horizon line. below the horizon line. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see some of these details. Okay, so the reason why I'm pointing out the positioning of the staircase, remember the rule of the boxes below the horizon line, straddling the horizon line, on the horizon line, and then above the horizon line. What happens? That same rule is playing out right here where you see the staircase, all the top faces of the staircase, you can see them clearly. You can see the sides, the tops. You can't see the bottom, of course. That's how that plays out. Again, when I do the video and I do the staircase straddling the horizon line, you will see the same the principles of that positioning. You'll see that play out, and then above the horizon line, you'll see how that plays out as well. Okay, so this is part 1A. This is just the basic straightforward technique of drawing the staircase, and I want you to take a look at it and see what happens to each step, the top of each step. Okay, and see how the perspective foreshortening affects the look of the staircase. So take a look at it now, see what you observe. In part 1B, I will point out the differences between this and the technique that I show you in that particular video. All right, so this is how to do it. Again, just remember when you're doing your construction and you're in the process, when you've gotten all your important features in, like your radiating lines, which are going to form your steps, and you've gotten the line to form your landing, and you've gotten all the basic stuff. Before you get into laying this stuff out, make sure you get rid of the top line of this box, because it's just going to get in your way and it's going to create confusion. In fact, let me go ahead and just draw that in so that you guys can see very clearly. So that's where that line would have been. I'm going to just draw that in lightly. But you see, I mean, can I zoom in some more? Yeah, I can. So, but you see how that, see, I'm even confused. How that line would interfere with this line and create a bit of confusion. Yes, you could probably, okay, fine, I can distinguish between the two. I don't need to erase it. But just to be more efficient, it's a better idea to just, when you get to a certain point, just get rid of it, because you're not going to need it anyway. Okay. All right. So there we have it. We're done. And I will see you in part 1B, where I do this exact same staircase again, but do it a little bit differently. And you'll see how things play out when I do that. This is Stractify 500, where I cover concepts and principles and techniques in drawing and composition, and I cover them in such a way that you can apply them to other drawings and other projects as we move forward. All right, I will see you in the next video. Take care.